Welcome to the Sports Betting Preview Show, a pregame.com podcast. This is Marco D'Angelo, along with my partner in crime, Vegas Runner. This is segment 2 of 6. We're going to break down a Friday game, Oakland and Pitt, in the NCAA tournament. This game goes at 2:55 Eastern Time on Friday, live from the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. VR, as we always do, tell me the numbers.
All right, this one is, it is in Wisconsin. You're absolutely right. It opened up Pitt as a 10.5-point favorite with a total of 135. Right now it's sitting at Pitt minus 10. Total dipped a half point as well to 134.5. So nothing significant as far as line moves go.
Okay, well, obviously, Pitt being my old former stomping ground, so I'll have a few opinions on this game. I actually don't have an official play on this game, but rumor has it that this is your official
this is my free pick. This is the free pick for the week.
All right.
And you're not going to like it. Even before we went on camera, we argued a little bit because of a statement I made.
Well, go ahead and make it.
Okay. I made my true line on this game 8, and I thought I was being extremely generous, and I was giving a lot more credit to Pitt than I think they deserve. Truth is, this team went to the Elite 8 last year, and they set a school record for wins, 31. But 4 starters from that team are lost. And as much as I keep hearing about how great Jamie Dixon is as a coach, the truth of the matter is he inherited a rebuilt program from Ben Howland. And all he did was continue what Howland had already done, but did not improve on anything. If anything, now that those 4 starters are gone, which Howland recruited, they've taken a step back. And they have 7 less wins this year. So I really like Oakland. This is a team that last year they got to the second round of the CIT tournament. Nothing major, but they did beat Kent in game number 1. And what I like about them is they had an extremely difficult non-conference schedule. 15th toughest in the entire nation, and they play a quick tempo game, something Pitt does not like at all. And you expect the more dominant, superior team to dictate tempo, but I think Oakland's going to have some fun at Pitt's expense, and they're going to get the cover, and to be honest with you, Pitt will get lucky to advance. This may be a bracket buster. Let's put it that way. But I'll even put Pitt as advancing. I won't go as far as saying money line this bad boy, but grab the points with Oakland.
Okay. I let you go 3.5 minutes. I gave you enough rope.
You're biting your tongue.
I gave you enough rope to hang yourself. Okay. Now, I'm not going to argue with your pick on taking Oakland with the points because, Pitt, a lot of times
plays down to the level of the competition. Yeah, they do.
But I love you dearly. You're like a brother to me. You're actually, we're almost a month away. You're going to be my best man.
Absolutely.
But I got to tell you, were you smoking at lunch or something, or drinking when we went and I didn't see you? Because what you just said was just... I can't even begin to start with. First of all, yeah, you're correct. He took Pitt to the Elite 8 with Ben Howland's players. Okay, first off, Ben Howland...
He didn't bring them in. He's been 6 years. He broke the record for getting the most wins in the only 6 years. So I give him that.
Okay.
But he did that with a Howland-recruited team.
Okay, here's the 2 things that's going to blow you out of the water with your statement that, thank Mr. Ben Howland. Inherited Ben. Okay, first of all, Ben Howland never got past the Sweet 16. Jamie Dixon is the first guy to get the Pitt program past the Sweet 16.
Easy to do when you got the horses.
Okay, second of all, now this year, these are all Jamie Dixon recruits.
And look where they're at.
They're a top 25 team. They're a top 25 team. They were in the top 10 all year. They were in the top 5 at one point. And let me ask you this. They were on the bottom of almost everybody's Big East projections because they lost everybody.
True, they did.
This team has played above expectations this year. And I want to ask a little question. Ben Howland, where did he go? I think it's a team called UCLA.
Yeah.
And they were 13-17 this year?
This year.
Okay.
This year.
Well, this is the same year that Ben Howland and Jamie Dixon inherited two different programs.
Listen.
I think Jamie Dixon showed
Here's
that he
where I think he gets too much credit, okay? The last two losses for this Pitt team were to Notre Dame.
They were.
Okay. You should be able to bounce back the second time you meet Notre Dame and game plan well enough to beat them. So wait, what that tells me is this: and this is what I talked about with Millman. Okay. Bottom line is this: if he is as good of a coach as everyone says, then I like Oakland even more, because what that means is they can't execute his game plan. Because if he's that good, he would have put together a game plan to beat Notre Dame the second time they faced them, since it was so close apart. And what that tells me is these players just don't get his system yet, or aren't mature enough to play in it yet.
You hit one nail on the head. This is a young ball club. And last week, I used Notre Dame in that game against Pitt.
I remember.
And we did a podcast last week about how to handicap conference tournaments. And one of the things was momentum.
True.
And there was a huge advantage for Notre Dame. They already played a game in the Big East tournament.
Yeah.
Pitt had a bye. So you had this young team that came out and had to play at Madison Square Garden in the Big East tournament on Friday, with not that buffer game, under their belt, the butterflies out of the system. And that's why I had Notre Dame. And Notre Dame changed it up and brought that game to an absolute crawl. The score was 50-45. Yeah. They frustrated Pitt, and Pitt got behind early and had to play catch up that whole game, and they played that slow down. The fast tempo, I feel, was actually going to be an advantage for Pitt. Pitt is a great rebounding team. They move the ball up and down the floor. Oakland better score on the first shot, because they're not going to get a lot of second shots in this game.
They're going to have a height advantage in this game. I know Pitt's more physical. Yeah, you're right. And they pound the glass. I agree with you 100%. But if Oakland brings the right game plan, and you're right, is able to score, get the ball inside, because it use that height and score, and not try to beat them from the outside, because you're right, they're not going to get second, third, and fourth opportunities. So if they bring the kind of game plan where they do run it a little, but they use the post and they get it inside and they try to make some easy basket 5, 6, 7 feet from the rim, I think they could create some problems and keep it close. If they do what you just said, and think, because they do have that height advantage, that they could take some more outside shots and not work it inside, then you're right. Pitt's going to eat them alive because they're too physical for them. So I agree there. But I think they're going to play the right kind of game. I think they could keep it within double digits, to be honest with you.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with your play. I have no play on this game.
Right.
I'm just going to point out, we're running up against the clock here. We got about a minute. One thing I want to point out, this Oakland team, this is the first time that they're going to be in this position.
Yeah.
Last year, they went to the championship game of their conference tournament, and they were right on the cusp of getting here.
Yep.
Their big goal this year was getting over that hump. Sometimes that is the goal, and it's enough.
And I think for this team, it was the goal to get here. And because there were 4 starters from that team, this was their goal. This year, we're going to win the conference. We're going to get to the big dance. And usually those teams already celebrate it, and I agree there. But because this is a double-digit line, I think that they're talented enough to stay within the number. That's why, I'm picking on you by saying they'll be lucky to advance. Yeah. I'm not going to have Oakland anywhere past this round on my bracket. But I do believe they're going to keep it close. And because of that, we may get some value on Pitt in the next round by having a team like this.
If they squeak by.
Exactly.
All right, I got to wrap it up. His official free pick is to take Oakland. No play for me on this game. And Jamie Dixon is one hell of a coach. Now, you can watch all of our videos at pregame.tv. And remember, pick the final score of this game. Pitt on top, and you'll be if you pick it correctly, you get 100 free game dollars.
I'll throw an extra 100. You get 2 this time.
to spend any way you want. And, of course, you can always download and listen. Go to iTunes and just hit pregame.com. Search for pregame.com. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with another video.